Hey, it's AAA, and welcome to a rather serious video. 2 years ago today, I uploaded How YouTube Saved My Life, talking about my experiences with bullying and how the YouTube community helped me cope with my suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, all that jazz. And I decided to make a more updated version of that because it's May the 21st. Mental Health Awareness Week just ended. I was going to upload this during then, but I thought it'd be more fitting to wait till today. And May the 21st has almost become like a grim sort of anniversary for me because it's the day that my life was completely turned upside down. But I think I've decided I'm going to use it as more of a celebration of how far I've come than a day of mourning for what I lost. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to be explaining that in this video, as well as talking about how far I've come since then. If you want to see the original video I did about this, where I focus more on the bad stuff, honestly, there'll be a link to that down in the description. And part of the reason I decided to do an updated version of this was because Squishy for Mental Health Awareness Week uploaded a very good video that will also be linked down below in the description that I'd highly recommend watching about anxiety and all that jazz. And for those of you who don't know, I sometimes use a deck of cards to help me calm down. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to be shuffling these up a little bit just so I'm able to keep my composure a little bit better. Because I'm having to relive some not so nice parts of my past that I don't really like to acknowledge very often. And when I do, I have to be careful how I do it. This whole story started 4 years ago. 4 years ago today, I was assaulted by a bully. I had a lot of issues with bullying. I was bullied from 4th grade all the way until I had to be medically ejected from the school in 8th grade, just due to a variety of factors, which I will get into. And in 7th grade, this particular bully, whilst on the playground, threw a football into the base of my head and neck while I was on the swing set. And when I say it like that, it sounds kind of almost weak, but it did a lot of long-term damage. It very badly messed up some of the vertebrae in my neck, caused me a horrible concussion, and eventually led to the blindness of this eye. My right eye is blind because of it, and the resulting brain damage. To them, it was almost some sort of sadistic game, seeing me squirm and seeing whether the balls would hit me or I'd avoid them or knock them out of the way. And in this case, I didn't, and it hit me in the head. I lost vision temporarily. As I was hit, I fell. I was able to bring the swing to a stop and stumbled to the ground. One of my classmates, I'm not entirely sure who it was, helped me over to a nearby bench. And while I was sitting there regaining my composure, the bully then proceeded to mock me. And it was bad. I just wanted to cry because I was just sitting there in so much pain, barely able to see. It was a bright day as well, which did not help. And he sat there mocking my weakness. And it changed me forever. That one single pigskin changed the entire rest of my life and everything that would follow it. I was taken to the hospital later that day. They did brain scans, all that sort of jazz. It very nearly could have killed me. They said it was a miracle I didn't have any bleeding in the brain, because it was a very strong impact. Actually, worse than the car accident I had a year and a half ago. It did more damage than the car accident, which is crazy in and of itself. And over time, the physical ramifications of that, paired with the emotional toll from the daily bullying I would have to endure from these kids, took its toll, because I'm a pacifist, for those of you who don't know. I've never been a very violent person. I don't retaliate to people. I'm quite a large individual. I'm 6'4". At the time, I was just under 6 foot. Right around 6 foot anyways. So these people were not very big. They were strong, don't get me wrong, but if I had a different set of beliefs, it could have gone very differently. But I had no plans on ever sacrificing my beliefs. I don't hurt people, even if they hurt me. And I paid the price for that, willingly. But the toll of it all eventually led to depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. PTSD is most often found in soldiers, people who've survived things like hurricanes, famines, wars. It's not very common in my age demographic whatsoever. It's actually not very common in non-adults at all. It's one of those things that's kind of hard for them to treat in adolescence, just because most adolescents haven't had to experience anything bad enough to cause PTSD. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I have it, but doctors aren't always prepared for it, so they're not always sure what to do. And I sort of was at a point where they weren't sure what to do to help me. I saw a psychiatrist, but I was at a point where I'd given up, and I attempted suicide in December of my 7th or 8th grade, in my 8th grade year, which would have been, December of 2015, I want to say. I don't know offhand. Maybe December 2014. I don't know. I don't have the kind of date memorized. I attempted suicide 2 times. And I was hospitalized. And leaving the hospital, after I was out of the hospital, I was told to try and find something to help me refocus. Some sort of new coping. Something that I enjoyed, an outlet. And I found YouTube. I started watching people like Stampy Longnose, Squishy Quack, iBallistic Squid in the Littlewood, Amy Lee 33. Granted, this was back in their heyday as well. I know some of them haven't had as much traction as they used to, which is really unfortunate, but thinking back all those years ago, it makes me realize just without these people, I probably would not have stayed stable enough to be where I am today. And I'm honestly very grateful to all of them, because they gave me the laughs and the smiles and the better world of Minecraft that the real world couldn't give me. The real world had nothing for me. I had no sort of happiness, I suppose. Nothing that would bring a smile to my face. Nothing that would make me want to go another day. And just that little bit of humor, that little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy, it goes a long way. And I think people really underestimate how much that can have an effect. And I am now on the road to recovery. I've been able to travel to places like Mindfair, Philadelphia. I actually keep... Oh wait, here it is. Pardon that. Mindfair, Philadelphia. I was able to attend twice, 2016 and 2017. I do plan on attending in 2018. Not sure which one yet. I'll keep you posted about that on Twitter. But I was able to go out and talk about this, and talk about how Minecraft and YouTube and all that, it changed my life for the better. And one thing that almost brings me to tears is on the very first Mindfair I ever went to. It was actually the first Mindfair ever. I came off the stage, and there was a father with a son in a wheelchair, who, as I was going off stage, called me over and talked to me, thanking me for doing the talk, because it helped his son so much. And last Mindfair, they came to my talk again. I was on a different stage this time. It wasn't as many people, but that's okay. And I almost started crying. I think I actually mentioned it in the vlog. Because having that kind of impact on somebody, there's no other feeling like it. Being able to help someone like that, even though I did have to endure some things, the fact that it helped that one person makes it worth it for me. This is a much more positive viewpoint than the last video had, luckily, because I'm kind of through the clouds a bit more. But granted, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Since my video 2 years ago, I did attempt suicide again. That did happen at a time. I won't give the exact date because it was a time when I was uploading. Or it may have been between upload periods, I don't remember offhand. I intentionally didn't make a note of this, of when it happened, so it wouldn't become some sort of grim anniversary like this one did. Because I got to a point where I had lost a lot in my life. A lot of different things. I won't go into it too much, but sometimes it resurfaces. And I'm not out of the woods yet. I'm still recovering. I'm still trying to get back to normal, if normal's really a thing There's no such thing as a true normal. Sorry, I have to do this because I'm starting to get a little shaky. I've always really been it can be tricky to, kind of talk about these things, but I don't think mental health should be something we feel is a taboo or an unspeakable. It's a part of our lives. It's just like being able to talk about having a bad cold or, I don't know, cancer or something like that. These should not be taboo kind of topics. It's something everyone will have to deal with, some sort of mental issue, I suppose. Obviously that degree varies greatly, but it's more a matter of people will always have these sort of issues. There will always be people who need help, which is why for this Mental Health Awareness Day, I'm glad I could help any of you with this. And honestly, if you are having suicidal thoughts, get help. That is the best thing I can tell you. Tell your parents, a doctor, a psychiatrist, or counselor if you have one, and get the help you need. Luckily, here on the internet, there are lots of good, positive resources for all that sort of jazz. Things like Headspace that are genuinely very good and can help you move forward and move past things and get treatment if that is what you need. I'd also like to once again thank all of you guys for listening to my little spiel about my life, and I hope that it helps somebody. I really do. I know the first one I uploaded of this it helped it helped people, which is why part of the reason I'm doing it again. Is because I want people to see that there is light on the other side. Thanks for watching. Other than that, peace out, guys.